Hey, you. Yeah, you, with the Tweety bird robe. Do you like birds? You do? Great! Well, maybe when you're done your coffee, why don't you go outside to get a closer look? You know, to be a birder, that's the name for a bird watcher, you really only need birds and your eyes. Oh, you brought your coffee. Well, I don't know, good for you. Now, can you look around? Hey, focus! Look around. Can you find any birds? You got one. Good job. And your eyes are working. Good job. If you want to learn more about bird watching, I know where you can go. Well, yeah, you might want to change first. Alright, let's go!
Hello there, my name is Steve Kulak and I'm one of the co-owners of the Wildbird General Store along with my partner Kay. And in many ways though we regard ourselves more as stewards on Jack's behalf, the original founder and owner of the business back from 1990. But my partner Kay is, I always like to say, is the brains of the operation. But between the two of us we try to keep this little old store running. The Wildbird General Store was Alberta's original backyard bird feeding nature shop, and it was founded in 1990, so it makes it 33 years young now. And it's been at this location since 1995, so we'd like to think it's sort of an Edmonton landmark, if you will. There's actually a sign in the store, an homage to Jack Clements and his daughter Ellen, the original founders of the store. So it's the store that Jack and Ellen built. And Jack is still with us, he's 92 years young, and he still comes in to get puzzles. One of the things that struck us after 33 years with this business still chugging along in Edmonton is it's just really neat to be part of this story, of having a chance to be part of that history and the contributions it makes to the birding and nature community, getting families involved in nature exploration and enjoyment, and getting to meet new friends. And the community that is interested and involved in birding is a great community as well. I think that the Edmonton birdwatching community is a lot stronger than people would maybe give it credit for. Yeah, how does it feel to actually go out and go birdwatching? It is definitely a great way to slow down. And again, not even so much bird watching as just taking your time, and you don't race through it. You move slowly through the environment. You can bird sit even for a while and just hang out and watch the birds around you, let them do their thing without disturbing them. It can also be challenging if you can hear a bird that you want to see and you know it's out there, but you can't quite get a good look at it. And I have a nemesis bird called the oven bird that I've yet to have I know it's a common bird that people see, but you can hear them clear as a bell, and they're always a struggle for me to see. They're a very difficult bird to spot. But also that challenge of finding a new bird, finding a new sighting. It's almost like a treasure hunt or a scavenger hunt in some ways as well. Yeah, so it has some different aspects to it, but mostly it's just a really great way to slow down and relax for a while. Best times during the day to birdwatch would definitely be early in the morning or late in the evening. If you're in the right place at the right time, some of the favorite birds would be the warblers that migrate through. So White Mud Creek, those types of areas, you can get some really beautiful, colorful warblers going through. And in the Edmonton area, in the surrounding area in the marshlands, you never get tired of the song of the red-winged blackbird. It's a quintessential prairie marsh bird, so absolutely, this sound is one of my favorites. What do I bring for bird watching? Really is your basic kit is a good set of binoculars and a good guidebook. Birds and bird watching are a part of nature that humans can interact with in a different way than other parts of nature. It's easier to get close to a bird or spend some time with one versus a grizzly bear, right? It's just easier to interact with them. You can get close to them. You can have almost more of a relationship with them. And they're easy to take care of, they're easy to feed, they're easy to have around. But there's a lot of, I think, just life benefit. A lot of people, Kay noticed this once at the store, when people come in to get bird seed, we often hear the phrase, I have to feed my birds. I'm not feeding the birds. And so we found that to be quite cute when people come in and say, well, I'm going to feed my birds. It shows a different level of interaction. It matters, yeah. Some ways to appreciate and protect birds. Set up a bit of a feeding station in your yard. It's not crazy expensive. Put out clean water, a little bird bath, flowers, trees. Plant as many trees as you can stomach. As the trees go, so go the birds. But just like humans, eat and survive. They need food and they need shelter. And so if you can get a little feeding station going, supplemental feeding can have a big impact on bird well-being, especially through the winter when it's really cold here. But appreciating birds, that goes hand in hand. If you set up a little birding area, you get the birds in your yard, and they'll come by, have a little visit. So you can do it right locally in your own home. And if everybody did a little bit of that, you'd see a huge uptick in support for the birds. Go for a walk in the river valley. John Acorn was a co-author on a book called Where to Go Birding in the Prairies. Our very own White Mud Creek made the list because it's a phenomenal place to go birding, and it's literally right here on the south side of the city. It's easy to get involved with, right? Birdwatching doesn't require a massive investment of time or money. It's accessible to just about everybody, right? And you know, have fun birding. It's a neat adventure. As the saying goes, a bad day birding beats a good day at the office. So just get out and go for a walk.
Well, now you've heard a bit of Edmonton's birding culture, and you've learned of some of the equipment you might need, like binoculars and some guidebooks. But what else is there? A birdwatching adventure might benefit from good shoes, a water bottle, and a snack, like a PB&J. Hey, wait, no, you're supposed to save that. Now remember, just being in nature and appreciating the beauty is free. You're ready, Miss Amateur Birder. Now get out there. Cue the birding montage. If these Edmontonian inner-city green spaces are too much of a trip, try your local parking lot. Or you have guaranteed success at the Royal Alberta Museum with their dead birds, otherwise known as an ornithology collection. They won't move though, so bring your imagination.
My name is Corey Scobie, and I work at the Royal Alberta Museum as Assistant Curator of Ornithology. The biggest thing that the Royal Alberta Museum does to support Alberta birds is it houses a collection of over 40,000 bird specimens that includes wild bird eggshells, skeletons, full mounts that are used in displays, and study skins. But we also do quite a bit of original research on birds in the wild here in Alberta in the field, and a lot of outreach and education, such as the galleries and museum school and a bunch of other programs. The must-see in the galleries today would have to be the passenger pigeon, which is in the Natural History Gallery. A passenger pigeon is an extinct species of bird. Unfortunately, it was found here in Alberta and is the reason that Pigeon Lake is named Pigeon Lake. And the tree condominium diorama, so a really neat display that shows some of the hybrid woodpeckers that we have in the province, as well as the diversity of species that rely on those woodpeckers and the cavities that they create. The best times to see birds are really in the spring and the fall when you have migration, so you can see the most number of species. But right now in the middle of the summer, the end of July and the beginning of August is the best time to see lots of birds because all of the young birds have left the nest. So there's actually more birds on the landscape right now than any other time of the year. In Edmonton, a lot of the ravines, White Mud Ravine, Patricia Ravine, even the river valley, there's a ton of species down there. The most important piece of equipment when you're out looking for birds is patience. Sometimes it takes sitting for 5 minutes before The birds adjust to you being there and will actually come close and you can get a good look. Patience and binoculars are really all you need, but binoculars are optional. Birds benefit Edmonton in lots of ways. Aside from the obvious, they're beautiful, the aesthetics, both the sight and the sound, they help keep Edmonton clean. Most people don't appreciate all the work that the magpies, the crows, the ravens, so they're all in the same family, the Corvidae family. They're all very smart. Humans are very messy, and so these scavengers, which we admonish and dislike all the sounds that the magpies and the crows make early in the morning, if it wasn't for them, our city would be much dirtier. I think that's the biggest benefit. That's a really difficult question because Edmonton is situated in an area where the bird communities are still adjusting from the glaciers not being here. So we have some really neat birds that are moving into the province, likely because of those big changes through the glaciers moving, but also all the changes that humans made to the landscape. In the last 150 years, the big changes that we've made to the landscape, coupled with things still moving from the last glaciation and now climate change. So it's a very complex issue because it's all working together in concert, but definitely something we need to be cognizant of. And even if climate change isn't affecting Edmonton's birds, it's affecting a lot of other things that are important to consider.
Here Corey is looking at a map of Edmonton's gradual development. Birds are losing the fight against habitat loss.
There's going to be some species that can adapt to those changes to the landscape. There's also going to be some that don't benefit from those changes to the landscape. And I think that as a conservation biologist, that part of our role is finding ways to have this development, which is essential. We are a city and we're growing and we need this land. And if we need it, let's develop it in a way so that we minimize the impact. What Edmontonians can do to appreciate and protect birds is look up, look around, notice the birds that are around us. And if we took our earbuds out and we looked up more, we'd get to see these incredible species, flocks of trumpeter swans, tundra swans that are going overhead. Even the chickadees and the nuthatches and the little birds that you can see every day walking down the street. If we looked up and looked around, we'd be able to see how beautiful, how incredible these birds are, how close they are, and that it's through that appreciation of birds that the protection will come. Because we're not going to protect what we don't appreciate, what we aren't aware exists. So no, just to look up and look around and take 5 minutes and look at a gull, look at a crow. They're really neat. The biggest misconception I hope to correct is there's no such thing as a seagull. We have multiple species of gull, and in fact, the most common one in Edmonton is called the ring-billed gull, and you'll notice it has a black ring around its bill, but there's no such thing as a seagull. To someone who thinks birdwatching is a waste of time, I would say that birdwatching is taking 30 seconds and watching a chickadee clean insects off a birch tree. And birdwatching is really about being outside, and it's about being present and being in the moment, and to me, that's never a waste of time.
You heard the man. Get out there, be patient, and look up. Happy birding, Edmonton!